Good evening to all of you. Yesterday we discussed about Buddhism. So the next topic is related to Jainism. As far as the birth of Jainism is concerned, it is believed by majority of the historians that Rishabhnath was the founding father. Rishabhnath. He is also considered the first Jaina Tirthankara. But at the same time, there are some scholars who believe that this Rishabh was a mystical figure. Therefore, the tracing of Jainism is as difficult as the tracing of the adventment of the Aryans in India. But the major consensus is that the Rishabhnath was the first Tirthankara. The Parshvanath, which was the 23rd Tirthankara. But the person who, I would say, globalized this Jainism religion, he was born in 540 BC in Kundalgram, a village in Vaishali. Once the parents of this person died, he went into the forest for attaining enlightenment, and after 12 and a half years of rigorous penance, he got Kaivalya, or you can say he got enlightenment. That's how this person is known as Mahavira. And after Mahavira, this Jainism religion, it got its name and fame, which we understand nowadays. In the core philosophy of Jainism, there are 2 to 3 things. For instance, the one concept called the Syadvada, which I have discussed in my previous lecture. Apart from this, there are 3 Jainas principle: the right knowledge. These are also known as the three Ratnas: right knowledge, right conduct, and right faith. There are 5 Mahavratas, these called the Panch Mahavratas, which I will be discussing today. The very first one is Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Aparigraha, and the last one is Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya. If the time remains, I will also be discussing the difference between the Shvetambara and the Gambara. So let me start with this right knowledge. What do you think? What is this right knowledge is? According to Jainism, what the right knowledge is? Okay. According to any teacher of Mukherjee Nagar, that's a different matter. But according to Jainism, the right knowledge, a knowledge which is not, I would say, static in nature. Static in the sense means, there is a proverb called change is the only constant. change is the only things which keeps on happening. The right knowledge, when you see through the prism of Jainism, you would realize that the right knowledge depends upon the reference which you are taking. The context or the reference point is highly significant if you want to understand what actually the knowledge, right knowledge is having the Jainism on the backdrop. Because if you go in other perspective or in other philosophy, that may be a different knowledge. But as far as the Jainism is concerned, the reference, I'm again emphasizing the word, the reference is very important. You cannot be prejudiced with anything, and you cannot be adamant that no, it is the only reality. And you can understand by taking the example of your own weight. I assume it should not be more than 60 or 65 kg unless you are the victim of obesity. So when I am saying that your weight is 60 kg, I am taking the reference of what? I am taking the reference of the earth, because the same person who has the 60 kg weight, if he is going to the moon, his weight will be reduced by 50 kg and he will remain only 10 kg, because on the moon the value of the z is equivalent to the value of the earth, which is that is 1 by 6 on the moon. So the 60 kg when you divide by this 1 by 6 or this multiply whatever is needed here, then it will be how much? It will be only 10 kg. So what is the important thing? The important thing is that your weight is 60 kg. It is not always correct. It is correct when the earth is the reference point. But if my reference point is the moon or any other planet, then the weight will not remain 60 kg. So it keeps on changing. It keeps on changing. So that's why the Jainism says that you cannot be adamant on any knowledge or any, but you should always be open to accept that there is a degree of change which can happen if the reference point is changed. You can also take the example, there are so many examples, but there is a disease called goiter, which happens due to the deficiency of vitamin D. And not vitamin D. This happens, goiter happens deficiency of what? It happens due to the deficiency of iodine. Iodine. Goiter, there was a time, once upon a time, goiter used to be believed as a symbol of beautiness. Whosoever was having goiter, he was believed the most beautiful person at that time. But now the context, the reference, nowadays if anyone is having goiter, he can never be accepted as a beautiful one. He will be, accepted as a diseased person. There is chili, which is very much present in the northeast India, in Manipur especially, and the name of this chili, this has also been provided the GI tag, I think 1 or 2 years back. That is called Bhoot Jholakia. Bhoot Jholakia. This chili is 100 times, believe me, it is 100 times bitter than the chili which we eat here in Delhi or in other places. So if any person who is addicted, one day what happened, a competition was arranged in USA, and one person who was not having any kind of experience of eating this, he thought it should be as a normal chili as we eat here or there. So he ate that, not even one chili, not even one chili, let me tell you. He was admitted to the nearest hospital and he became the victim of paralysis. I want to make you understand that this bhut julakia, which is being eaten by the people of Northeast, if you are giving the chili which we eat to that person who is addicted or has the experience of eating this, don't you think he will say, oh, is this really a chili? I mean, the chili which we eat. It may taste him like a rasagulla because he is addicted of tasting or eating the world's most bitterest chili. In Delhi, when the temperature reaches 3 or 4 degrees Celsius, we experience, my God, what a nail-biting cold and completely unbearable. At the same time, the person who is living in Leh or in Siberia, where the temperature sometimes goes more than 70 or 80 in minus, if he is coming here, I think he would be very comfortable only by wearing a single t-shirt and walking on the road.
Enjoying summer.
Yes. So, there are limitless examples. My concern is that if you want to understand what actually the right knowledge is, you can never underestimate the reference point. So, your knowledge will keep on changing according to the reference point which you are going through. And once, by the way, right knowledge is not only this one. I'm just giving a brief idea of it because to really realize it, you need to develop your mind, body, and soul in such a manner, because I mean, there are some things which cannot be taught by anybody. You have to experience by yourself, and for that you have to change your whole personality in such a manner. What Buddha told, that be the lamp unto yourself, because nobody can help you beyond a certain extent. So this right knowledge, and the next thing is the right conduct. Right conduct. What Jainism is saying, that once you understand the right knowledge, you also execute that knowledge in your life. If you are not executing, you have lots of ideas and everything, the brain of Aristotle, but when the thing comes to execute in your life, I mean, there are some teachers in Mukherjee Nagar who teach ethics, despite of the fact that they may be the most unethical one. So teaching anything or teaching Arthashastra, it does not mean you are the richest one. Or teaching about poverty or about farmers, you can understand the heart and feelings. I just want to tell you that knowledge is a different thing, and the execution and bringing that knowledge into your personality. What the Gandhi told, that truth is not the thing to listen, it is the thing to live. So once you get the right knowledge, you need to execute that right knowledge in your life. And if you are not executing, then it would be like you are surrounded by the millions of light. I mean, you just wonder, if the millions are light, then what will be the amount of light? Let's assume the Diwali is there. You are surrounded, by the light. But if you are blind, will you be able to experience that light? No matter the whole universe is shining, if you are blind, that whole universe which is shining, it will be as blunt and as dark as anything else. So that's why only the right knowledge is not significant here. Once you get the right knowledge, you need to execute in your life, then only you can be benefited. And once this right conduct happens, then naturally you will lead to the right faith. Because it is like once the layer of the dark layer of the clouds, if it gets removed, then automatically you will experience both the things. You will experience the light, the sunlight, and the heat. What you need to do, you need to remove that obstruction of ignorance, or that obstruction which is here in the form of the dark clouds. So once you attain this right knowledge and mixed with right conduct, this right faith will naturally occur to you. So this right faith is like a flip side of the coin. If these two things are there, it will naturally happen. There is no any coin which has only one side, only head, or only, it is not possible. So the Jainism gave emphasis on these three ratnas, as these ratnas are significant enough if you want to be the part of Kaivalya, or if you want to achieve the enlightenment. The next thing that are called the Panch Mahavrata. The Sat, I don't want to explain it, as it is known to everybody, but hardly anyone speaks. Everybody wants to reach to the heaven, but nobody wants to die. So Satya, which is already known to you. Ahimsa. Look, Ahimsa, I think there is no any religion other than the Jainism which gives so much emphasis, or this much emphasis over Ahimsa, which it is not visible in any other religion. And they give so much emphasis on Ahimsa that you will find hardly any follower of Jain religion who is practicing the agriculture. Because the definition of the criteria of the Ahimsa are so strict in Jainism that it is almost practically impossible to follow. They are not practicing the agriculture because they believe when we plow the field, there are so many bacteria which might get killed by accepting this thing as a profession or a medium for livelihood. And that is the main reason the biggest shops in Delhi, book shops, they belong to the people who belong to this Jainism religion. The monks, they place a mask. I think they were already immune to this COVID-19 because it was in their religion to wear the mask. By the way, their logic of wearing the mask to get rid of the bacteria which we inhale while breathing, but this is a complete solution against this COVID-19. So practically it is not possible. I mean, nowadays the kind of lifestyle we live, you have to go to the office, and if you keep on wearing this mask, I don't think it is possible 24/7. If you are thirsty, then you have to filter at least 10 times the water which you want to drink. Why? Because they believe that in this water, if we are filtering it, then we can remove the bacteria which were supposed to be killed if we are drinking this water. So many difficulties are in connection to the ahimsa, and this was also one of the reasons why the population of the Jainism in India could not flourish as much it is in the case of other religions. I think less than 1% people who follow Jainism in India are living. And by the way, Buddha religion is also close to the Jainism, but I think the followers of Buddha are more than the followers of Jainism. So Buddha, a religion which was born in India, got completely disappeared or died on the land where it was born. So the ahimsa, asteya means to not steal anything, or to you are not supposed to have anything which rightfully does not belong to you. Which rightfully does not belong to you. The brahmacharya and aparigraha. Brahmacharya. Look, I mean, it is, I think, known to almost everyone. The brahmacharya, celibate, chastity. But this brahmacharya, which we relate with our physical perspective. If you are not having relationship with any opposite sex, this was not the only intention of the Jainism. You are not having relationship, that's a good thing. But if you are able to manage your thoughts as well, then you will be accepted as a true devotee of Jainism. You are sleeping in the night and started dreaming about a dreaming girl. So there is no any mean. You are not a true celibate, let me tell you. And how to control it? It is really difficult. You need to develop a command over your sensual pleasures. You need to have the command in your tongue, as we every alternate day think, oh, we need to cook this one or that one. You need to develop a command in your eyes, what you are supposed to see in everything. So you should not relate a brahmacharya only with the physical pleasure. The brahmacharya means the disassociation of your sensual pleasure, and this sensual pleasure is not only related with the thing which we generally think. So what you are seeing, you should control it. What you are tasting, you should control it. What you are listening, that is also, because ultimately these all senses, they generate something into your brain, and that's how the hormones gets secreted and the whole body gets governed. So the meaning of brahmacharya in Jainism is a very deep and very huge meaning, how to develop the command over our senses. Once a devotee reached to Lord Shiva and described his problem, that what should I do to get success in my life. Shiva stood up and closed his eyes, touched his tongue and also ears, and turned around. The person, the devotee, he couldn't understand what kind of solution is this. I mean, I came here to know something from you. so that my problem could be reduced, and you stood up, touched the tongue, and closed the ear and eyes, and you turned 360-degree. What is this? So Lord Shiva told him that if you develop the capacity within you to see the good things, I mean, if you develop what you need to see. Nowadays in internet, whatever comes in YouTube, we start watching it. We don't have any control in our eyes, in our this sense which provides us the pleasure. So he told that you need to control your eyes, what actually you are seeing. You have to develop a controlling mechanism. The second thing, you also need to control what you speak. What you speak, because whatever I'm speaking, if I'm telling or chanting the Hanuman Chalisa, then my thoughts will be different as compared to the situation where I'm singing a song called Jalebi Bai. By the way, the mental involvement is also needed here, but by and large, so you need to control your eyes, your tongue, and what you are listening. You should also develop the control in that thing. If someone is coming and starts elaborating the story of Mastram, then your sentiments and your emotions and everything will change. So Lord Shiva gave a solution that you have to develop the control on all those things, and if you are able to do it, you can achieve anything in your life, anything, no matter how difficult it is. So this brahmacharya, which we should not relate only with the sensual pleasure which we generally think, it is more than that. Aparigrah. I haven't discussed aparigrah. Any idea what actually this aparigrah is?
संचित न करना किसी वस्तु का ज्यादा.
Yes. But yes, you are right, but I want to elaborate it a little further. Aparigrah means you should not show any attachment with anything. Aparigrah is not saying you do not have any right to have Mercedes or Thar or even the whole train which Ambani is about to have or planning to have. Aparigrah means, aparigrah is never, it does not say that you cannot collect anything. You can collect as much as you want, but the problem is that you should not show any attachment with the collection which belongs to you. If you have a huge palace and in the evening any monk comes and asks, please donate me this palace, you should not think even an iota of second and donate it. And believe me, you can only do it if you are the true follower of Jainism and if you really believe in the Buddhism philosophy, because aparigrah says that you should not show any attachment. And if you are able to do it, it means you do not have any kind of attachments. But nowadays people are not ready to leave their 1 rupee, then how can we expect that they will be ready to leave the whole palace? So you should not be attached with anybody, because once you become attached with a property, with money, or even with a girl or anything, believe me, you will lose to visualize the other possibilities of your life. This attachment will make you blind. So these were the thoughts or the things which Jainism wanted to make the people understand of that time. The last thing, that is the difference between the Digambra and Shvetambra. So as we all know that after the death of Mahavira, 200 years after the death of Mahavira, a famine occurs in Magad. And this famine continued for more than 12 years. I mean, the time which is equivalent to the time which Mahavira took to get enlightenment. So to get rid of this famine, some of the followers or the believers of the Jainism, they went to South India. And some of them, they stayed and they struggled in Magadha only. The people who stayed in Magadha, they were known as, yeah?
Shvetambara.
Yes. And their main leader was
Bhadrasuri.
Sthul Bhadra.
Sthula Bhadra.
Sthul Bhadra. And they were known as Shvetambara. Shvetambara.
Mata Shvetambara.
And the remaining one,
Digambara.
obviously Digambaras. Okay, Digambaras. And their leader was Bhadrabahu. Bhadrabahu. So the people who went to South India, they were known as Digambaras. That was led by Bhadrabahu, and who remained in Magadha, they were known as Shvetambaras, and their, you can say, the leader was this Sthul Bhadra. This dividation happens after the first Jainism council. The first Jainism council takes place where? In Pataliputra. And the second one takes place in Vallavi. So the first, I think, council was headed by Sthul Bhadra. Anyway, so this dividation happens as two sects of Jainism. The one is Shvetambra, led by Sthul Bhadra, and the other one is Digambra, led by Bhadrabahu. These Digambras, the meaning of Digambar is a synonym of cloud. So they believe that cloud is our cloth. We are covered by the clouds. Therefore, they do not wear any kind of cloth. Whereas they wear. They don't wear clothes. That's why I think, by the way, this is not the appropriate reason to tell that the women are not supposed to be the part of enlightenment, because they believe that women lack in terms of willpower and in terms of body. Therefore, the women in the Gambras cannot have the enlightenment. And if the woman wants to be the part of enlightenment, first she has to take birth as a male person, then only she can be the part of this enlightenment. Whereas in case of these Shvetambras, there is no any condition like this. These Digambras, they also believe that Mahavira never got married off. Whereas these Shvetambras, they believe that no, Mahavir got married off. By the way, there are some other differences as well. So this is by and large, and I would say a brief difference between the Shwetambara and the Digambara based upon the cloth, the marriage of Mahavira, and whether the woman can achieve enlightenment or not. There is a practice called Santhara or Sanlekhna. Any difference between Santhara and Sanlekhna? What do you think? This is practiced by whom? I mean, this Chandragupta Maurya practiced this Sanlekhna. So, what do you think? This practice is practiced by Shwetambaras or by Digambaras or by both?
दिगंबराज
It is practiced by both. The only difference is that the word called Samthara is related to Shwetambaras. I mean, the followers of Shwetambaras, they call it Santhara, and these Digambaras, they call it Sanlekhna. So, the Rasagulla will remain Rasagulla no matter you are calling it chili or potato, it will always remain sweeter in taste. So Santhara and Sanlekhna, a matter was raised in the High Court of Rajasthan in 2006. Not in it was raised in 2006, and after that the verdict was given in 2015 that the people of this religion are not allowed to practice this Sanlekhna practice, because in this practice what happens? They stop eating anything, and a time comes when, because if nothing your body gets, then what will happen? The biological activities, they will stop, and once these are stopping, the person will die. So a petition was filed in the Rajasthan High Court in 2006 in which it was challenged that this practice called Santhara or Sanlekhna against the Constitution of India, as the Constitution of India talks about the right to life which is given within the Article 21. But these followers, they also had the idea of the same constitution, and they raised and told that the constitution or the article which you are supporting your argument with, that Article 21, the same Indian constitution also gives the right to us. That is called the right to religion, given within the same constitution, starting with the Article 25 till 28. And this is the part of our religion. Why can't you practice this? So the fight between the Article 21, right to life, and this 25, right to religion. I am cutting the long story short. The matter reached to the Supreme Court of India and told that no, this is the right to religion and they can practice it. So I present these people have right to practice their Santhara and Sanlekhna, because Rajasthan High Court has stopped it. Alright, so this was, by the way, what's the time now? How many minutes have completed? Okay. Alright, so as we are running completely out of time, so we will be discussing the remaining things in our coming lectures. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.